Love can heal, but it can also destroy. And sometimes the greatest danger comes not from strangers, but from the ones we let closest to our hearts. The screen opens in, silence so quiet that the sound of a single raindrop feels heavy. Darkness lingers, and then faint city lights begin to flicker in the distance. Tall buildings glow against a night sky, their reflections breaking on wet pavement. A voice enters low, steady, almost like a whisper that dares not be heard. We don't choose who we fall in love with. We don't choose when it happens, or how deep it goes. The camera never shows faces, only shadows moving behind curtains, footsteps echoing down empty hallways, hands tracing across a fogged-up window. The faceless figures are mysterious, leaving the audience to imagine who they are. A door closes slowly. The sound is sharp in the silence, like an ending. The voice continues, now tinged with something darker. But every love has a cost. Every secret leaves a mark. The visuals shift. Rain intensifies, hitting glass harder. A lone figure walks under a street lamp, their outline blurred, carrying something heavy in their silence. Another figure appears on the other side of the street. Both pause, as if drawn together by something they cannot resist. The audience sees their hands twitch, almost ready to reach out, but they never do. The silence holds them apart. The voice breaks the stillness. This is not a story of happy endings. This is a story of love that should never have been. We cut to slow motion waves crashing against sharp rocks, lightning splitting the night sky, a candle burning down in a small room. The imagery whispers of danger, but also of passion that burns too bright to last. When desire meets betrayal, hearts are broken, trust is shattered, and lives are changed forever. The screen cuts to black. For a moment, nothing. Only the sound of breathing, shallow, quick. Then a faint light grows again, revealing only a pair of hands trembling, reaching out toward the edge of the frame. Before pulling back into the shadows, the voice concludes the opening section. Haunting yet irresistible. This is where it begins. Not with joy, not with laughter, but with a single choice that will change everything. The atmosphere is heavy, filled with tension and beauty woven together. The audience is left uneasy but intrigued, drawn into a world where love is both salvation and destruction. The screen fades in from black. A soft piano note lingers, echoing through the silence. Then footsteps, measured, heavy but uncertain. A silhouette appears at the far end of a corridor. The figure is faceless, only the outline visible as they move toward a door. The voice returns, lower now, almost like a confession whispered into the night. They were never supposed to meet. But fate does not ask permission. It simply collides. A door creaks open. Inside, the room is dimly lit, shadows stretching across the walls like secrets hiding in plain sight. Another figure stands near a window, back turned, framed by the glow of city lights. The two silhouettes exist in the same space now, yet an invisible barrier separates them. The music swells slightly, deeper notes mixing with a haunting violin. The camera lingers on the smallest of details, a hand tightening on a chair, a breath trembling in the dark, the way a shadow moves closer but hesitates at the last step. She carried her silence like armor. He carried his guilt like chains, and yet, in each other they found what the world had taken away. For the first time, their hands almost touch, hovering inches apart. The faceless outline of fingers brushing the air between them creates a tension so sharp it could cut. Time slows. The world outside fades. Only this fragile, forbidden connection remains, but just as their hands are about to meet, the sound of a door slamming elsewhere in the house shatters the moment. Both figures flinch, retreating instantly into the safety of distance. Shadows consume them again. The voice hardens. They knew the risk. They knew the danger. But the heart does not obey the mind. The visuals cut sharply. A faceless figure sitting alone in a car, staring at the steering wheel, unmoving. A woman's outline against a mirror, her hand pressing against her reflection as if asking it for answers. Two shadows crossing paths in a hallway, stopping for only a heartbeat before continuing in opposite directions. The narration softens again. Almost breaking with sorrow, every glance became a promise. Every silence became a secret. and every touch became a betrayal waiting to happen. The music rises now, layered with urgency. Quick cuts flash across the screen, a hand grabbing another in desperation. A figure stumbling backward in a dim room, shaking their head. A glass slipping from a table, shattering on the floor in slow motion. The pace quickens, each image more intense, more dangerous than the last. And still, they return to each other again and again, drawn not by choice, but by something stronger, something they could not escape. The faceless figures are shown closer than ever, standing at the edge of a rooftop under the night sky. The city below roars with life, but up here it is only them. They lean toward each other. Shadows merge. Silence takes over, but then the narration pierces through the quiet with a chilling reminder, because every forbidden's love is also a ticking clock. A sudden flash of light breaks the screen, harsh headlights in the night. Tires screech. Someone gasps. The music cuts to silence again, only the voice remains, low and final. They thought they could hide their hearts, but the truth always finds its way to the surface. The section ends with a slow, lingering shot. Two hands on opposite sides of a frosted glass wall, pressed flat, separated by something they cannot break. The screen fades to black as the haunting piano note returns, fragile but unforgettable. The sound of silence is broken by the faint rhythm of a heartbeat. It's slow at first, steady, but grows faster with every passing second. On screen, darkness gives way to sudden flashes, quick, violent images. A wine glass tipping over, crimson liquid spreading like blood across a white table. A door shaking as if someone is pounding on it from the other side. Shadows racing down a narrow alley, the voice enters. Sharp and unrelenting, like an echo of truth that can't be silenced. Every secret has a price, and every lie leaves someone bleeding. The faceless figures reappear. One sits at the edge of a bed, hands buried in their face, body shaking with regret. Another stands by the window, gripping the curtain tight, staring into the night as if searching for a way out. Their silhouettes are close, yet the distance between them feels impossible now. The music grows, harsher violins screeching, drums pounding like a chase closing in. What began as love became a storm. And the harder they tried to hold it together, the faster it fell apart. Sudden cuts show the unraveling. A faceless man slamming his fist against the wall, the echo rattling through the empty room. A woman's outline, hair falling in front of her face as she sinks to her knees, clutching something hidden against her chest. A car door slamming shut in the middle of the night, headlights tearing through darkness. The narration lowers, heavier, almost like a warning. When betrayal walks in, trust walks out, and once it's gone, nothing is ever the same. The visuals twist tighter. A phone vibrating on a table in the dark, unanswered. A shadow eavesdropping at a half-open door, silent but trembling. Two hands intertwined under the table, quickly pulled apart when another figure enters the room. Suspicion begins to seep into every frame. They thought they could hide in silence. But silence only makes the truth louder. The pace quickens again, shards of chaos spliced together. A figure running barefoot through rain. A letter burning in slow motion, edges curling into ash. A mirror shattering, the faceless reflection breaking into pieces. The voice grows urgent now, cutting through the storm. Every choice they made was another step into the fire. And with every step, the flames rose higher. The music crescendos loud, unrelenting. For the first time, the faceless figures appear not drawn to each other, but torn apart. One reaches out desperately, but the other turns away, swallowed by shadows. Their silhouettes are no longer soft, they're jagged, broken, distant. Love became obsession. Obsession became guilt. And guilt became betrayal. Suddenly silence. Everything stops. The screen turns black dot, then dash boom. A gunshot echoes. A scream follows, faint and far away. The imagery returns in fragments. A hand covered in blood, clutching at nothing. A necklace slipping from trembling fingers onto the floor. A faceless figure standing in the doorway, motionless, as if frozen in the horror of what they've done or what they've lost. The narration is now a whisper, low and cutting as if speaking directly to the audience. When love turns into betrayal, there are no winners, only survivors. The section closes on one haunting image, a single chair in an empty room, spinning slowly as if someone just left in a hurry. The light flickers, then dies. Darkness consumes the screen once again. The screen is black. Silence stretches long enough for the audience to grow uneasy. Then a sudden gasp echoes, sharp and desperate, as if someone has just seen the truth they cannot bear. A single flame lights up the darkness, flickering violently, almost dying. Before surging back, the voice returns, raw and final. When love becomes betrayal, who pays the price? The music bursts in deep, thunderous drums pounding like war. Visuals cut in rapid fire. A faceless figure running through the rain, their shadow elongated and distorted by streetlights. Another figure slamming a door shut, locking it, leaning back against it with trembling hands. A crash of glass as a window shatters outward, shards scattering into the night. The narration tightens, urgent. They thought they could escape the truth. They thought love would save them. But some storms never end? A flash of lightning blinds the screen. For a split second, both lovers are seen as silhouettes against the light arms reaching out to each other. But then thunder roars and the scene collapses into darkness again. The music intensifies, strings climbing higher, faster until they almost break. Images swirl together, a faceless man in a suit, his shadow stretching across a wall where bloodstains mark the edges. A woman's outline screaming in silence, her face unseen, her body collapsing into shadows. A gun dropping to the floor in slow motion, spinning as it falls. Every lie leads to a consequence. Every secret leaves a scar, and every betrayal demands a sacrifice. The pacing becomes relentless. The camera flashes between moments of desperation, two hands gripping each other fiercely, refusing to let go. A figure sprinting down a stairwell, chased by another shadow close behind. A car speeding into the night, headlights cutting through the fog like knives. The music stops, suddenly cutting into silence. Then, just one sound, a single heartbeat, slow, loud, terrifying. The visuals slow down. A faceless figure stands on a rooftop, wind tearing at their clothes. Another figure steps closer, hand extended, trembling. The distance between them is only inches, but it feels infinite. The voice breaks through the silence, soft and devastating. In the end, love is never enough. A flash gunfire, screaming, the sound of glass shattering. The screen flickers between images so fast they blur, shadows fighting, tears falling, a necklace breaking apart, blood on trembling fingers. Finally, silence again. The screen goes black. For a long moment, nothing, then the faintest whisper, Culpa Nuestra. Our fault. The final shot appears, the title in stark white against darkness. Behind it, faint silhouettes of the lovers appear for a moment, hands almost touching through the letters before fading into nothing. The closing screen. Culpa Nuestra, Our Fault, streaming soon on Prime Video. The haunting piano note from the beginning plays one last time, fragile and broken, leaving the audience with a chilling echo that lingers long after the screen has gone dark. Asterisk,